I think, a very carefully worded statement that came officially from the Ukrainian government this morning. And I think the fact that they've issued that statement as soon as they could in the morning, praising Mr. Trump for the efforts, and also agreeing to the 1.5-hour discussion that they had on the phone, a briefing by President Trump, and then other European leaders joined that meeting as well, from what we've heard from the Ukrainian presidential office. And then also the fact that Mr. Zelenskyy agrees that it's a good idea to have a trilateral meeting next time, and he will be able to discuss this face-to-face with President Trump in the Oval Office, as we've just heard, on Monday. Now, there's more as well, because Mr. Zelenskyy, in the same way that Mr. Putin did, reaffirms his belief in terms of having a guarantee for security from the European nations, as well as for Ukraine in the future. And without that, any kind of peace agreement, a stable peace agreement, would be very, very difficult. I get the impression that they're very careful not to be seen to be critical, even if most of the media, especially loud voices on social media, not just in Ukraine but beyond as well, are seeing this summit in Alaska as being a failure, because it didn't lead directly to a ceasefire. And of course it hasn't led to any cessation of fighting either in the east of the Ukraine, where there's been shelling and bombing earlier today.
And Iolo, how have normal Ukrainian citizens been reacting to the meeting?
Well, less polite than the Ukrainian government, one feels, because when you talk to regular people, and some of the politicians as well, in fairness, it's been quite striking that they couldn't quite understand the respect that was shown to Mr. Putin. They couldn't understand the red carpet, the firm handshakes, the smiles, the driving together in the presidential car, because they obviously see Mr. Putin in a very different way on this side of the border between Ukraine and Russia. They blame the Kremlin and Mr. Putin directly for, first of all, attacking Ukraine and then occupying the country. And of course, 20% of Ukraine is still under Russian control, and actually in the east, Russian forces are gathering pace. They're actually taking more ground and pushing gradually the Ukrainians back. So the language that was used was far more strident. There were complaints that actually these images, which are now part of folklore almost here, are seen as sickening, that they just don't understand why the Americans or the American administration would be so polite and so respectful to Mr. Putin before even getting any kind of agreements for a ceasefire or a long-standing peace agreement. And I think they feel that also Mr. Putin has won in postponing yet more time before actually stopping the fighting and ending the killing in the east of Ukraine. Those are the concerns. One very interesting conversation I had on the street here was a soldier. He's a soldier working in Sumy in the northeast. He came up to me and he said, "I can't talk on camera, but actually, you know, we're laughing at how ludicrous the situation is in the middle of all the misery there in the east of Ukraine."
Iolo, many thanks indeed for that. Iolo Dafydd reporting for us live from Kyiv.